folk singer is dead after she was attacked by a pair of coyotes.
What is the monkey doing? Tell me what the monkey...
He hit your face off!
We actually have a trainer in the water with one of our whales.
If I show weakness, if I retreat, I may be hurt, I may be killed.
Baby Azaria Chamberlain was taken by a dingo back in 1980.
Howdy doody, my little cuties, and welcome back to Man Eaters, the only true crime podcast on the entire foul, stinky little internet where all the killers are real animals, whether it's biting, scratchings, maulings, or clawings. If you're listening to this episode, hello and welcome. If you're watching this episode on YouTube or on Patreon, also hello. Extra hello, because you get a little wave. See, the people listening, they don't get a little wave, but they do get a little kiss. They actually got 3. I got a little bit excited there. Gang, I want you to get a little excited too, because pack your bathing suit, muchachos. We're going to Brazil. Oh, fuck, that was loud. Jesus Christ. Jesus. Hold on. I want to do it. I want to do the Brazilian thing, but let's turn it down. My Christ. Yeah, is this Brazilian? I typed Brazilian music into Epidemic Sound, and this is what came up. Yeah. Not entirely the vibe I really wanted there, and I also think I certainly deafened a lot of you. Please tell me that no one crashed their car. But guys, today we are going to Brazil, the lovely, gigantic country. Not to go to the Amazon, which I think probably a lot of you maybe would have been expecting if we're doing a Brazilian episode. And we're not doing an episode on me getting my crotch waxed, which is another type of Brazilian episode. But that one will surely be kept behind the Patreon paywall, for the good of all mankind. Today, we're going to Brazil for, I guess, kind of a sad reason, because we're doing another list episode, and we are tackling the list of every single fatal dog attack in Brazilian history. That's right, it's a list episode for episode 150. What better way to celebrate our time together? 150 goddamn episodes with a list episode. If you don't know, the list episodes are when I find these lists of fatal attacks of animals, or by animals, I should say, and we just go through them. We go through them all. I feel like my microphone sounds a little weird. If the audio sounds different to you, let me know. I don't know. But yeah, I found this list. We're going to go through it. It may be a one-parter or maybe multiple episodes. Let us see how we go. Before we do that, though, a little bit of context. So, I found out from some very basic research that deaths from dog attacks in Brazil are actually on the rise, despite huge progress. Sorry, I'm still... If you're on the video version, you can see me lifting my headphones. I don't know why it sounds so weird, but let's just move on. Deaths from dog attacks in Brazil are on the rise, despite huge progress against rabies. Since 1983, dog-medicated rabies has dropped nearly 98%, with the last fatal case from a dog recorded in 2010. But 2023 told a different story. Sao Paulo saw 19 deaths, which is a 137% jump from the year before. Rio Grande do Sul reported 7 deaths, and Goiás doubled theirs. In April of 2024, MP Julio Cesar Ribeiro proposed a law making it a crime to walk certain dogs in public without a muzzle, with possible jail time of 15 days to 6 months. Ribeiro stressed it's about holding owners accountable, not punishing the dogs. Meanwhile, MP Mario Heringa drafted a legislation that would require certificates of ownership and proper containment of specific dogs, with criminal penalties if attacks occur. These measures aimed to curb the rising tide of dog attacks and to keep communities safe. So, there's a little bit of context. We basically don't have any information about dog attacks prior to around 2000. That's when the record keeping really kicked in. But they have certainly made up for it. Dog attacks are quite a significant portion of the deaths, I guess, when it comes to animal attacks in Brazil. So, here we go. Let's jump right into it. The first entry on our list is the only one of its category. It's a fatality before the year 2000, and it's only one on record. It was recorded on March 22nd, 1998, and the victim's name was Joaquim Costa, who was a 43-year-old man who was killed by a Napoleon Mastiff, at least one. This death occurred in Parana in Curitiba. Get ready for some really butchered pronunciations of some Brazilian place names. I no speak Portuguese. Okay. The dog owner was attacked by at least one of his 8 dogs. Neighbors heard the calls for help and alerted police. Police had to shoot the dogs to get to the man. Moving on to the 2000s. November of 2000, Helena Maria da Conceição. Yeah, perfect. Was a 65-year-old woman killed by a fila brasileiro in Sao Paulo. She was attacked while feeding one of her 3 dogs of the same breed. Family members could not stop the dogs from killing her. In October of 2003, on the 14th of that month, Antonia Firmino, who was 49 years old, was killed in Sao Paulo by a pit bull. The neighbor's dog invaded her property and attacked her so badly that she died. The dogs also killed a dog on her property. Skipping forward to 2006, on January 7th, an unknown victim was killed by an unknown dog. Oh, this is why it's unknown. The 17-day-old baby died after it was attacked in her stroller by the unleashed dog named Rambo. Terrible name. It's a cute name until the dog kills a baby, and then it gets a little sad, I think. Moving on. August 31st, 2007, Geraldo da Silva, who was 76 years old, was killed in Sao Paulo by a pit bull. He was attacked by his male dog in his home. His daughter and neighbors tried to help, but were not able to save him. He was already dead when the first responders arrived. Skipping forward 2 more years, August 31st, exactly 2 years actually, August 31st, 2009, a 16-year-old was killed by 4 pit bulls. This woman, or this girl, was 16. She was attacked on a farm and died at the hospital. Now skipping forward another year and a bit, June 18, 2010, Fernando Jorge Paes was 44 years old. In Mato Grosso do Sul in Campo Grande, the owner was attacked by his dog and the dog was euthanized. It was a pit bull. February 18th, 2012 was the next victim. Helosia Maria Capolina Marao, 70 years old, was killed. The woman was attacked by her dog and died at the scene. One dog was described as a fila brasileiro. One thing I'm noticing already is the ages of these victims. Normally when we do these lists and their dog attacks, there's so many kids. It's usually children. It's like, 3 years old, 2 years old, a 5-year-old, or 6-year-old, and then maybe like a 90-year-old man or something like that. The people who have been killed so far have been pretty much adults for the most part, except for that one baby and the 16-year-old. And a 16-year-old, it's like, this sounds weird. Don't take it in a weird way. In this context, a 16-year-old is close enough to an adult. Indian drum circle, what are you doing? Don't make fun of me for that. That's none of that Epstein shit, thank you. Okay, what am I, fucking Nick Fuentes over here? Terrible. Awful. Cut this out of the episode. What I'm saying is I'm surprised that so many of these victims are adults. It's usually the elderly or the very young. It's the newly bred or the nearly dead that gets killed by these animals. All right, let's skip forward. April 2013. Rosa Ubenda Alves, 75 years old, was killed. She put the 10-year-old family dog into a kennel and was attacked and killed. They had the dog since it was a puppy. Her daughter was also injured in the attack. That's crazy. I hate those stories. It just I hate it because I don't want this to be a reality, but it just feels like you can't trust anything. Like, they've had this dog since it was a baby, and just one day randomly, 10 years later, it just attacks you randomly. It's so off-putting. November 5th, 2013, Manuel Pereira do Nascimento, bad name choice from me, 52 years old. The dog killed its owner and attacked the victim's wife later. The family had the dog for 8 years. The dog had already injured a child in the past. There you go. There's your little red flag. August 24th, 2016. We don't know the name of this victim, but they were killed by a pit bull, and we know that the victim was 88 years old. It was a woman. She was killed by the family dog in Minas Gerais, Belo Horizonte. January 7th, 2017. Ari de Oliveira Mendes This man, oh wow, okay, 83-year-old, the man saved a child from the dogs and was subsequently attacked and killed. Good Lord. That is a goddamn hero right there. That is an absolute hero and a badass. Goddamn. July 23rd, 2017. 3-year-old family dog attacked a girl and she died at the hospital. Her name was Pietra. She was 1 years old. There you go. There's another baby. September 13, 2017, another baby. The 27-day-old baby was attacked by the family dog and died. It was a Rottweiler, and the death occurred in Sao Paulo. January 15th, 2019, Kristan Gallo, 44-year-old female, was killed by a pit bull. The dog owner had the dog for 5 years. She was home alone when neighbors heard her screams during the attack. She was rescued but did not survive. Ooh, this next one's quite a long story. March 11, 2019, Edmilson Alves de Oliveira, 55 years old. This was a male killed by 2 pit bulls in Goiás. The victim was attacked by his dogs named Spike and Leslie. His wife was not able to get the dogs off him. His son-in-law heard the screams for help and also tried to get the dogs to let go, but they did not stop even when hit with a heavy construction tool. According to the family dogs were friendly until recently. A month before, they killed another dog that lived in the house. Good Lord. I really think, I love dogs. I'm a big dog guy. Have your dogs, but you have to have a 1-strike policy here. If that dog bites someone or attacks anything, or God forbid kills another pet, you get rid of it, man. You have to just get rid of it. Send it to the pound. I'm not saying kill it. I'm not saying euthanize it. I'm just saying get it out of your house, especially if you have elderly people or fucking children. Good Lord. Okay. July 19, 2019, Laura Emiliano de Freitas Silva was a 1-year-old who was killed by a pit bull. The child was alone in a bed in a room when she was bitten on the head by the family dog. She was taken to the local hospital but did not survive her injuries. The dog had known the child since birth. October 8, 19... let me start that one again. October 8, 2019, Otto Baum Nascimento was a 1-year-old who was killed by a Rottweiler. His grandmother was feeding the dog in a kennel. The dog escaped and attacked him inside the house. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition and later died. October 22nd, 2019, an undisclosed 78-year-old man was killed by a pit bull. The dog escaped its property and attacked an elderly man who was pulling weeds on a nearby property. The neighbor tried to help but was also attacked. November 18th, 2019, Vitora Rabino dos Santos, a 1-year-old female, was killed while sleeping when she was attacked. She was sleeping when she was attacked by the dog in her mother's workplace. She died on her way to hospital. The dog in question was a Rottweiler. December 25th, Christmas 2019, Luis Fernando Teixeira de Santana, 10-year-old male, was killed by, 6 pit bulls. 6 of them. Awful. The boy was playing in the park when his kite fell into the property next door. The boy jumped over the wall and was attacked by the dogs. A helicopter was called into the rescue, but the victim did not survive. 3 dogs were killed in an effort to save the child. And this is an interesting one. I've never seen this before, where there's 2 victims. Okay. June 23rd, 2020. Oh, okay. June 23rd, 2020. Anilu Noveas and Anne Noveas, both under 1 year of age, both female, were killed in Bahia Piripia. The family dog attacked the 26-year-old... Oh, God. The family dog attacked the 26-day-old twins. One was dead on arrival and one died at the hospital. Fucking hell. Brutal. So brutal, man. These dog attacks are just wild. They're some of my least favorite attacks to hear about and think about. I think it's because we have dogs in our lives so frequently. Yeah, very sad. That was every death from 2000 to 2020, and only from this point forward we go into individual years. The reporting gets much thicker. There is a lot more detail, so we're going to get to that now. I want to check how long have we been recording for? Oh, not long at all, like 10 minutes. Okay. I will continue then. Okay. February 15, 2021. Felipe dos Santos Vieira, 26-year-old male, was killed by 2 pit bulls in Rio de Janeiro. The victim was looking after dogs whose owners were out of the city. 2 other boys, ages 7 and 9 years old, were attacked. Each dog received 2 shots as they weren't stopping attacking the victims. Bad English there. Whoever wrote this list, bad. February 2nd, 2021. Algeciras de Macedo Pereira. I'm bad at the names, guys. I'm sorry. 46-year-old male. The man was out for a walk, as he often did when the dogs attacked him, and severely injured his face. The dogs had run away from a nearby farm. He was killed by 7 pit bulls. April 18th, 2021. An undisclosed 2-year-old male was killed by a pit bull. This was a family pet of several years, and it had attacked 2 brothers, one of 2-year-old and the other of 7-year-old. Police shot the animal on sight. Younger boy died of severe injuries to the neck and head. Whoever wrote this has very bad English or bad grammar. It's poorly phrased, so I'm going to just, on the fly, maybe edit as I'm going. July 21st, 2021. Marli Donguera Tesura, 53-year-old female, was killed by 6 pit bulls. Good Lord. The victim was returning to a country house carrying pizza boxes and was attacked by 6 dogs. She had multiple fractures, was scalped, and had other extensive injuries. She was familiar with the dogs, who had never acted aggressively to her. The dogs were well cared for and well kept. How well kept? Because that's crazy. August 1st, 2001. Esther Viana de Silveira, a 4-year-old female, was killed by a Rottweiler. The girl was playing with the family dog in the garden when the attack occurred. The girl died from several injuries to her head. This next one's got a fair bit of a story behind it. It's another child. I should have at the beginning of the episode given you a, the red flag warning that they were going to be kids. But at this point, when you hear the episode's going to be on dog attacks, you should just probably know. Okay, August 14th, 2021. A 26-day-old female was killed. A family pet bit a child in the head following a dog fight at home. Authorities later informed the public that it was not a Chow Chow as first reported. Is a Chow Chow a breed? Maybe it is. After the incident, some owners of this breed started to abandon their dogs. Due to this, the local environmental authority felt it was necessary to publish a correction. They did not provide any information about the actual type of dog. There you go. Chow Chow is a cute type. I just wasn't sure because usually if it's they would link that type of dog, but they didn't. Okay. November 6th, 2021. 72-year-old female named Antonia Perea Ramundo was killed by a pit bull. This is a really great entry on this one. It says Sao Paulo. That's the place. Great. And then it just has hyphen and then the word the. And no further info. And also no citations either. So I'm kind of fairly skeptical that that's a real one. So we might just move on. November 15th, 2021. An 11-year-old named Fabio was killed by a German Shepherd. The neighbor's dog was loose on the street and attacked the boy. His father found him dead in front of the neighbor's house. Good Lord. And now this attack has 2 dates. So let me read the story first and I'll give you the details. The victim was attacked in the early morning hours while walking home. The dogs escaped the owner while he opened his gate. She later died in the hospital, I think. Later died in Marilla. So the dates given are November 12, 2021 and November 16. Maybe, okay, I think I understand. The attack occurred on November 12 and the death occurred on the 16th. It was a 31-year-old female named Juliana da Silva Rosa, and she was killed by 3 pit bulls. Moving on to 2022. Where were you in 2022, guys? Leave it in the comments below. No, don't worry about that. That's fine. January 17th, 2022. a baby was killed. This was a boy. The family dog entered the room where the 21-day-old baby was sleeping and attacked the child. The grandfather stabbed the dog in an effort to free the baby from his mouth. At this point, I would really stress maybe don't have dogs and babies at the same time. It seems so like nothing triggers it sometimes. The dog can be so gentle and loving to that baby, and then just all of a sudden, bam, bites its head, kills it, and won't let go and needs to be stabbed to let it go. Absolutely fucked. February 17th, 2022. Oh God, how do I say this? Siderli Dorozio Cravo, 20 years old. The dog owner found the man in the morning. Neighbors said they heard loud barking around 2 a.m. and suspect the man entered the property at that time and was attacked by the dogs. He was a 40-year-old man and was killed by one pit bull. Or at least one pit bull, sorry. March 11th, 2022. Marcio Andre, 49-year-old man, was killed by a pit bull of the variety Pit Monster. Pit Monster, never heard of that, and that sounds fucking terrible. The man was responsible for feeding the male dog and was attacked by it. Nearby workers heard the screams and saw the attack. They described it as everlasting. He was severely injured and died on his way to hospital, according to reports. His own female dog of the same breed did not attack. April 6, 2022. A 1-year-old boy named Miguel was killed by a pit bull. The child was attacked by the 4-year-old family dog in his parents' yard. July 15th, 2022. Joselina Sequeira, 81 years old. The dog belonged to one of the victim's neighbors. The man allegedly left the gate open. The dog attacked the woman who was passing by the property. She was 81 years old and was killed by a pit bull. On August 15th, 2022, an undisclosed year-old man who was 69 years of age, was killed by a mix of medium size. The man was attacked by his own dog and died from blood loss. According to his wife, the dog was acting strange for days before the attack. September 16th, 2022, Guilherme Santos Sena, a 3-year-old boy, was killed by a pit bull. The child opened the door to the yard and was attacked by the dog. October 9th, 2022, an undisclosed named 54-year-old female was killed by 2 Rottweilers. The dog entered the woman's room and attacked her. She was bedridden and recovering from having a stroke. Oh God. Awful. Imagine trying to recover from a stroke and then getting attacked by a dog. Yuck, 2 dogs. And the final attack in 2022 happened. We don't have much information on this. An undisclosed 70-year-old who was killed by an unknown type of dog was killed on December 30th, 2022. The woman was attacked while she was tending to the plants in the garden. Her grandson tried to scare away the neighbor's dog with a machete, but the dog wouldn't let the woman go. Let's move into 2023. We're getting so close to the modern day. I want to skip forward and just see how many fatalities they have recorded in 2026 so far, because it's only been a month and 6 days. Okay, we have 3. All right, let's go back to 2023 and see what we've got. There's a lot. Okay. February 15th, 2023, an unknown woman who was 70 years old was killed by 3 pit bulls. A woman died after being attacked by 3 dogs. According to local residents, the owner had a habit of leaving the dogs unattended. Neighbors rescued the victim and the dogs were confiscated. February 27th, 2023, Yvette Machado Luis, 69 years old. Nice. Female was killed by pit bull, between 1 and 8 pit bulls. The victim was killed by the dogs of her son. March 14, 2023, Vilma Yarto Carbonara. Her last name's Carbonara. That's crazy. Oh, no, it's not. Carbonera. Close. 78 years old. Rio Grande do Sul. That's where this happened. She was attacked on the neck by the family dog in the house where she lived in the neighborhood. The 2-year-old dog was adopted a year prior by the victim's son, who also lived in the apartment. That was a pit bull. April 6, 2023, undisclosed 67-year-old man was killed. There's a lot of people whose names are undisclosed. Children, I understand. Babies, I understand, because sometimes they're not even named yet. Sometimes I'm like, like my first thing is that maybe they were homeless or they were unregistered or something like that. But no, I mean, I don't know. No reason. This person was killed by 3 pit bulls. The dogs escaped from a house and attacked the victim, who was sitting and resting on the sidewalk. The man suffered severe injuries to his stomach, arms, and legs. Neighbors drove away the dogs and provided first aid to the man. He was taken to the emergency room but succumbed to his injuries. On April 11th, 2023, an undisclosed person with the name and age also undisclosed were killed by a pit bull. 2 dogs were kept separately on the property. One of the dogs escaped into the yard and was attacked by the other dog. While trying to stop the fight, one of the owners was bitten. His brother also tried to help but was attacked. May 23rd, 2023. How do I pronounce this name? Joao. Hoa? I don't know. Hoa Ferreira dos. By the way, now that we've got video of this podcast, in a year, someone needs to make a compilation video of me mispronouncing all these names of places and people. It will be very embarrassing for me, but I think it'll do good numbers. Anyway, Hoa Ferreira dos Santos, 71 years old, was killed by a pit bull. The victim was found lifeless in the yard of his house. First responders had to shoot the dog. The dog belonged to his son. A lot of sons, a lot of shitty sons with some shitty dogs. June 7th, 2023. This is another baby, unfortunately. A 3-month-old baby was killed by the family pit bull. July 1st, 2023. Juan Miguel, another child. The 10-month-old child was visiting his grandma, who raised the pit bull since it was a puppy. The dog attacked when the mother bathed her son on the terrace of the house, where the dog was running around freely. July 2nd, 2023. Helenita Lopez Machado, 61 years old. A woman and her husband were in their flat in a condominium when they were attacked by their neighbor's escaped pit bull. They were both taken to hospital, where the woman died from her injuries. July 11, 2023, Irandila Alves Roca, 58-year-old woman, was fatally killed while trying to break up a fight between her 2 dogs when the pit bull turned on her. September 8th is another split one where there's 2 victims. Well, this is interesting, though, because they're both adults. September 18, 2023, we have 2 victims. Antonio Bibiano de Brito and Maria das Dores de Jesus Maria das Dores de Jesus Pereira de Brito. Nailed it. Spoken like a true Portuguese. They were 75 and 79 respectively. So the couple was attacked in their home by their nephew's dogs. The nephew lived on their property and was not home at the time of the incident. 4 dogs were picked up by an NGO and placed in a shelter-like facility. On September 27th, 2023, Pietro Alves da Silva was 2 years old, unfortunately, when they died. The boy went into the garden to get a ball. The family dog attacked him. The 7-month-old dog was brought the 7-month-year-old dog was brought just 2 days before the attack. That's like almost worse, because there's so many stories about, like, you know, this dog, we had the dog for 10 years and then it randomly attacked. In a lot of ways, to me, it's like this is the opposite. It's almost just as bad. We bought it 2 days ago and already it killed the baby. Ugh, awful. October 4th, 2023, Luisa Vitoria Vieira Soares, a 1-year-old female, was killed by a pit bull of the type American Bully. It's actually killed by 1 or 2 of them. The dog owner, an aunt, was watching the baby for the parents. She was also injured by one of the 2 dogs. On October 11th, 2023, an undisclosed 33-year-old male was killed by a pit bull. He tried to help a family member that was attacked by his dog, and then the dog turned on him. On October 13th, only 2 days later, Maria Barbara Conchieto de Jesus, 42-year-old female, was killed by 3 Rottweilers. She was fishing on the Iha Grande when the dog attacked her and bit her on the head. She died before she arrived at the hospital. 2 more deaths in this year. November 25th, 2023, a 2-year-old was killed by a pit bull. The little girl was attacked in the living room by a family dog. A 12-year-old teenager was also bitten. And finally, on December 7th, 2023, an undisclosed 1-year-old male was killed by a pit bull in Sao Paulo. The child was attacked by the family dog and died later at the hospital. I think and I don't know about you guys, I can't handle too much more of this. This is getting a little bit emotionally taxing for me. So I think what we're going to do is come back next week and finish off with the attacks from 2024, 2025, and 2026. And for now, we'll wrap up this segment, and we will come back after a quick little break with a little game called Who Am I? And also the scratch of the day. So go and do it, we. Indian Drum Circle. How did you find that segment? Yeah. Pretty depressing. Yeah. A lot of babies getting killed. Yeah. I often, I forget sometimes. We do these dog attack series, every 6 to 8 months or whatever, and I always just seem to, by the time we get to a new one, have forgotten just how horrible it feels to just read death after death after death of old person or baby at the mouths of pets and neighbors' dogs and stuff. So a little bit brutal there. I'm sorry I cut that short. I personally just needed to take a break from that. But good news is we are back with a very fun segment called Who Am I? I was pissed. Gross. Okay, in this game, I will give you 10 hints going from brutal to easy, and you have to try to guess the dangerous animal that I'm thinking of. You get a point for however many... Wait, no, you get... Hold on, let me rephrase this. Okay, for example, if I read you question number 10, which goes first, which is confusing, and you guess it straight away, you get 10 points, okay? And all the way down to 1. If you don't get it at 1, you get 0, and you're not allowed to listen to the show anymore. Okay, are you ready? Let's hear that segment interstitial again. I really like that, yeah. Rock on. Yeah, baby. Who am I? I just pissed. Okay. Question 10. This is for the 10 points. I have a fearsome reputation far larger than my actual size. Ooh. Question 9. 9 points. People say I can take down prey many times my weight despite being a solitary hunter. The 8-point question. I belong to a family better known for smaller, slender creatures, yet I am bulky and muscular. Just like it's describing me. I'm bulky and not very muscular. And I used to be slender. 7-point question. I thrive in cold, snowy environments, often traveling dozens of kilometers in a single day. The 6-point question. My diet is opportunistic. I hunt, scavenge, and even eat berries when I must. Also sort of sounds like it's describing me. I'll eat a berry if I must. The 5-point question. I have large paws and strong claws that help me dig through snow and frozen food. The 4-pointer. I am sometimes nicknamed the glutton because of my voracious appetite. I swear it's describing me. Okay, hopefully you're starting to get closer to it. All right, question 3, the 3-pointer. I can outrun most predators in deep snow thanks to my wide snowshoe-like feet. Here we go. If you haven't got it now, this is your chance. Question 2, the 2-pointer. My name starts with a W and sounds like wolf, although I'm not one. And number 1, the 1-pointer, you only get 1 point if you get it from this point. I share my name with a superhero from Marvel Comics. What is the answer? It is, of course, the Wolverine. Who am I? I was pissed. I mainly want to keep this segment in the show so I can keep playing the interstitial. I really like it. Really fun. Did you get it? Let me know in the comments section wherever you're listening to this if you got it, and if so, how many points you got. Let's move on to quite possibly my favorite segment of the entire goddamn show. It's, of course, the Scratch of the Day. Scratch of the Day, of course, the segment where we look at animal conflict and animal attack stories in the news, and you bet your little bottom we talk the fuck about it. Okay, so This first one I spoke about yesterday. I did a little TikTok, YouTube, Instagram video. If you're not following me on all those bits of social media, do it, because I genuinely had a little bit of breaking news yesterday. I found this story only an hour or so after it actually happened. So I actually got to break some news. Basically, the headline reads, "Police executing a drug raid find deadly snakes and a crocodile in an alleged makeshift zoo." So I'm going to read the story and then I'll break it down for you in my own words. Police have been confronted by deadly snakes and a snapping saltwater crocodile during a raid at a property on the New South Wales mid-north coast. More than 50 reptiles, including a cobra and a 1.3 metre crocodile, were seized when police discovered a makeshift zoo during an alleged drug bust near Kempsey. Kempsey is about 5 hours from where I live. The exotic animals were discovered as police searched a property at Columbati as part of a drug investigation on Wednesday. Detective Brad Adby with the New South Wales Raptor Squad, cool name, said officers uncovered a chaotic scene at the property. "It's not every day we enter a premises and there's a saltwater crocodile in the bedroom," Detective Albie said. "There was a hydroponic cannabis system there with 28 dogs around that. The scene was chaotic." During the search, police say they found 38 snakes, 19 lizards, 3 hedgehogs, and a number of dogs and cats, along with a hydroponic cannabis setup. More than 52 hydroponic plants and 11 kilograms of cannabis leaf, with an estimated value of $85,000, was seized at the property. Brendan Michael White, 39 years old, has been charged with weapons, drug, and illegal animal trading offences. New South Wales Police said the discovery followed an investigation last year into the supply of drugs and firearm possession in the area. It led police to stopping and searching a white Toyota Hilux driven by Mr. White in Kempsey at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. The 39-year-old was arrested and police began searching a property nearby at Columbati. Detective Adby said while officers had information that exotic animals were kept at the property, they were not informed about the type and quantity. Quote, "There were 15 exotic animals there from 6 separate species," he said. "There were baby snakes in there. It appears he may have been allegedly involved in selling these exotic animals." Licensed reptile handlers, with the help of the RSPCA and Kempsey Shire Council, have since taken the animals into care. Detective Adby said animal welfare agencies would make the call about whether the animals had to be euthanized for biosecurity reasons. Quote, "They're currently responsible for their welfare. They'll make all the future determinations in relation to euthanasia." Detectives also located a rifle in a kitchen on the property. I'll finish reading there because there's a little bit more. I'll read a little bit more. Defense argues animals will be returned. Appearing before bail court this afternoon, defense solicitor Greg Coombs argued Mr. White needed to be released to care for some of the seized animals. Quote, "The animals who have been taken are apparently going to be returned. They need to be looked for or looked after," Mr. Coombs said. Magistrate Lisa Viney rejected the argument that they would be returned to Mr. White, saying a number of the animals had protected species status. Mr. White was denied bail to appear before Kempsey local court in April. The RSPCA declined to comment. There you go. So, yeah, essentially from where I was up to yesterday, the police discovered the animals, but we didn't know what was going to happen to them. The euthanization is a sad little factor that I hadn't thought about, but yeah, because there are so many species that are not invasive, but Australia has really strict customs laws and bringing out. You remember a few years ago, Johnny Depp and I think Amber Heard, when they were together, they came to Australia and he brought his dogs with him, but he didn't declare them properly. And there was this thing. One of our politicians, a guy named Barnaby Joyce, who's just like an absolute, like, picture a sunburnt lemon. That's what this guy is. He was basically like, yeah, we should probably fucking kill Johnny Depp's dogs, hey. I really think we should fucking kill his dogs. That was his whole thing. He really got into it. He really wanted to kill Johnny Depp's dogs. But we are quite, cautious with our biosecurity here in Australia. So, yeah, they might be euthanized. I hope not. I hope that we're able to just find a zoo or a place that these animals can go to look after them, because I don't think they deserve to be killed. Yeah. Okay, next story. Oh, this is a great story. So, scientists think they might have found the oldest known victim of a bear attack. So, new research bolsters the theory that a prehistoric adolescent was mauled by a wild animal, likely a bear, in what is now Italy tens of thousands of years ago. In 1942, the remains of a young adult dating back to between 27,900 and 27,300 years ago came to light in the Arane Candici cave in Liguria in Italy. The grave goods discovered alongside the skeletal remains earned the individual nickname Il Principe, meaning the prince. He's the prince. But the person is known for more than their funerary possessions. An incomplete mandible and left clavicle suggests the prince had been violently injured by a large animal. In a new study published last year in the Journal of Anthropological Sciences, researchers add new evidence to this hypothesis. Quote, should I do the accent? Despite ample evidence that the Paleolithic humans hunted... I'm not doing it. Turned into that Swedish character from 2 weeks ago. And you guys did not like that character, so I'm not going to do it. Despite ample evidence that the Paleolithic humans hunted large and dangerous carnivores, such as lions, leopards, and bears, skeletal evidence of negative interactions with wild fauna is extremely rare in Homo sapiens paleobiological record. To date, the only individual for whom an animal attack has been hypothesized based on their patterns of traumatic lesions is the Gravitian adolescent, the team wrote in the paper. The Gravitian refers to a prehistoric culture that existed in Europe from around 28,000 to 19,000 years ago. According to the researchers, however, no one has sufficiently studied this theory. As such, the team reinvestigated the previously noted injuries, verifying that the individual experienced the mandibular and shoulder injuries while alive or immediately after dying. They also looked for more signs of what might have caused the person's death, finding possible fractures in the teeth, skull, and possibly even the neck. Additional perimortem trauma, including linear markings on the left parietal and puncture wounds in the fibula, support the hypothesis of an animal mourning, wrote the team. Given the overall traumatic pattern, a bear attack remains the most plausible explanation. If true, this would make the Prince fossil the oldest known example of a modern human killed by a wild animal, and possibly the earliest evidence of a fatal bear attack in human history. The poor individual had also injured his left little toe and a bone in his right ankle. This strengthens the theory that injuries to the prehistoric forager's lower limbs eventually proved to be deadly. Quote, I'd imagine that the foot injuries would make one's already bleak chances of surviving a bear attack even bleaker. To make matters worse, their results indicate the prince outlived his injuries for a number of days. Couldn't the beast at least have finished him off? The writer writes. They noted that other potential explanations for the clearest injuries, including human-inflicted violence or a big fall, are either lacking or appear to be parsimonious. I don't even know that word. In fact, the prince does not display other lesions that would be expected in a fall, such as forearm and leg fractures, and neither falls nor interpersonal violence would explain the marks attributed to the carnivore activity and the apparent loss of bone tissue in the shoulder and mandible. At the very least, they departed for whatever afterlife they believed in with style. The violent event and the long agony may have been reflected in the elaborate burial, following the presumed Gravitian use of formally burying exceptional individuals and exceptional events. There you go. So that might be our first ever scratch of the day, ever. Yeah, bear attack on a human thousands of years ago. You know me, guys. If I'm not current, what am I? Okay, this next article is from Discover Wildlife, and it says, mauled by a crocodile or snapped in two by a tiger, what's the worst way to die from a wildlife encounter? I've always wondered this myself. Some animals use sharp teeth and claws to bring down human prey, and others use more surprising techniques. Here are the worst ways to die through an encounter with a wildlife. Before we get into how some of our deadliest wildlife could kill you, it's important to stress how unlikely it is to happen. For example, out of the estimated 600 million individuals who visited the Australian coast in 2023, that sounds like a lot. There were just four fatal shark bites, while fatal attacks on humans from the world's largest reptile, the saltwater crocodile, occur less than once per annum. 600 million individuals visited the Australian coast in 2023. That number seems really high because the population of Australia is only 27 million. So are you saying that 563 million people visited Australia. I don't think that's right. That can't be correct. Anyway, after debunking that little number on this article, I'm going to continue to read the article to you. All right, here we go. I'm going to skip forward. The worst ways to die. Mutilated by a crocodile. I would agree. Blood loss from a shark. Pretty bad. Organ failure from a mosquito bite. I guess. It's not really sexy, like a crocodile bite or a shark attack. Internal bleeding caused by a snake bite. That would be pretty bad. Blood loss from a lion bite. Yep. Severed spinal cord from a tiger bite. I mean, this is really... You can have a severed spinal cord from any of these animal attacks. Why not severed spinal cord from a lion attack? This is silly. The next one could be like dick ripped off by a cougar. Like, yeah, that would be bad, but it would be... Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. Heart or lung failure from a scorpion sting. Sure. Okay, this is a bad article and I regret reading it to you. I don't think 600 million people visited the coast of Australia last year. And I also think that dick ripped off by a cougar is the worst way to go. Okay, final scratch of the day. We're going to India, so get ready for some fucked up names that I... Hold on. Fucked up pronunciation. The names aren't fucked up. The names are beautiful, okay? Indian drum circle, back me up here. I need your help. Thank you. Thank you. See? I have an Indian drum circle friend. I can't be racist. Okay. What I meant to say is I will fuck up the names. The names are good. I'm bad. Okay. A 6-year-old woman was killed in an animal attack near Bhimtal in Uttarakhand. Fuck. So bad at it. In Nainital, a 60-year-old woman was killed in a suspected wild animal attack with her mutilated body recovered from a forest ravine in Nainital district, officials said on Tuesday. This is the fourth such death reported from the block in the past 2 months, heightening concern over human-wildlife conflict in the area. Genga Devi, which is her name, had gone into the forest to collect fodder for her livestock on Monday, but did not return by evening. Her family alerted villagers and the forest department following which a search operation was launched. Forest officials said her body was found the next morning in a dense and inaccessible forest patch around 3 kilometers from her home. The body bore deep wounds and injuries consistent with a predatory animal attack. Locals who reached the site said the pattern of injuries suggested the involvement of a big cat. Range officer Vijay Melkani said, "It is not yet clear whether the attack was by a leopard or a tiger, but it confirmed to be a wild animal attack. The body has been sent for post-mortem. The incident has triggered fear and anger amongst residents who allege inadequate preventative measures despite repeated attacks in recent weeks. Villagers demanded increased patrollings, installation of trap cameras and concrete steps to ensure safety in the forest fringe areas. Local representatives said rising leopard encounters had put lives at risk and called for stronger intervention if the threat continued. Forest officials said cameras were being installed in high movement zones and locations were being identified for placing cages to capture the animals. Residents have been advised to avoid entering forests alone and to move in groups. As per norms, immediate financial assistance of 10 lakh will be provided to the family." There you go. Another classic attack in India. They really do follow such a similar and predictable pattern, those stories. Yeah, wow. Okay, good episode. A little bit shorter than usual, but we're going to call it there. So, thank you so much for listening to the show. I love you a lot. Be sure to head to Maneater's YouTube channel. youtube.com/maneaters, because not only are we uploading all of the the recorded video versions of this show, you will also notice I'm now uploading YouTube videos there. So I uploaded a video today, or recorded a video today that I'll upload tomorrow, about animal culling and the debate between, the ethics of, is it right to cull animals? What comes first? Human safety, your animal lives? Just not really giving my opinion too much, but more just sort of breaking down the arguments for each. Because after the shark attacks and the dingo attacks in Australia a couple of weeks ago, the debate about culling animals really sort of sparked up again. And I kind of didn't really know where I stood, so I kind of wanted to research each side of those debates. And unfortunately, I kind of come down in the middle. I wish I was a strong enough person to, have one side or the other, but I am kind of fence-sitting here. I think it really does depend on the situation. Anyway, we've got TikTok, We've got Instagram. We've got YouTube. Go to all of those. Those links are in the description of this episode below, wherever you're listening to it. Go follow me there. Follow me on TikTok, by the way. That's a real fun one to do. Posting videos there pretty much every day now. And yeah, other than that, stay safe. Love you lots. Thank you to everyone on Patreon who is supporting the show. And as always, guys, stay safe because it is indeed a jungle out there. Love you lots. Give your mum a kiss for me. Okay, bye.